Good evening and welcome to the Dana Center on the campus of Bentley University in Waltham, Massachusetts for tonight's Northeast 10 conference game between the Bentley Falcons and the Purple Knights of St. Michael's College, brought to you live as a service of the PAC Network and Bentley University exclusively on Bentley Falcons TV. Steve Jordellian courtside, good to have you with us on this Wednesday in December as the Falcons return home after an unsuccessful road trip where they went 0 for 3, and they'll take on St. Michael's in NE10 play, a Purple Knight team still in search of their first victory of the season. Bentley coming in at 4-4 overall, 2-3 in Northeast 10 conference play, and 3 games they lost on the road included 2 conference games against 2 very strong teams, St. Anselm and Southern New Hampshire. The Falcons only lost by 5 at St. Anselm, but they had a tough day on Saturday against Southern New Hampshire and ended up absorbing a 20-point setback. The other loss was a 7-point non-league reverse against Dominican to get things going. So they'll try to get things back on the right side for Jay Lawson's team this evening, 3-1 in home games this season. So they enjoy the friendly confines of the Dana Center. Meanwhile, for St. Michael's, 0-7 on the season, 0-5 in Northeast 10 conference play. They have one of the best players in the region, interestingly enough, in senior Matt Bonds, who is truly an elite player. But the problems for St. Michael's center around defense, or lack thereof. They give up 93 points per game. They also turn the ball over 17 times a game. So when you can't stop anybody and you keep giving the ball away, that's a recipe for failure. So the Purple Knights will try to turn that trend around tonight and get themselves in the win column. For the Falcons, they're led by sophomore guard Ryan Richmond, averaging 19.3 points a game. He's led the team in scoring 6 times in 8 games this season. And he's actually the only guard in the Northeast 10 Conference averaging at least 16 points and 5 rebounds per game. He had one terrific game on the road trip, 32 career high against St. Anselm, but had a tough game against Southern New Hampshire with just a dozen on 4 of 15 shooting. So we'll see how he does tonight. In the backcourt along with Richmond is Matt Barr, the senior from New Hampshire, averaging 9.5 points a game. Ferguson Duke on the wing averages over 9 points a game as well, another senior. And up front, Brandon Wheeler and Kyle Bouchard do the duties for the Falcons. Wheeler averaging 10 points and 6.5 rebounds per game. The rebounding total leads the Falcons, and 9.5 points a game for Kyle Bouchard, who shoots 50% from three-point range. The Falcons, again, as I said, 4-4 overall and 2-3 in Northeast 10 Conference play. But certainly would like to get back on the winning side of things. Meanwhile, for St. Michael's, Matt Bonds is the elite player I was mentioning. 22.6 points a game, second to only Michael Mallory of Southern Connecticut in scoring in the NE10. Leads the conference in rebounding, over 11 boards per game, and he is one tough matchup, 6'5" senior from Maryland. Levi Holmes III also having a fine season, 6'5" sophomore from East Brunswick, New Jersey, averaging 15 points a game. An excellent three-point shooter, almost 49%, and a great foul shooter at 88%. So the combination of Bonds and Holmes, very effective offensively for St. Michael's. The other starters include senior guard Zaire Williams, 6-footer from Paterson, New Jersey, 6'4" senior David Sullivan out of Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey, and Bruno Becha getting his second start of the season, a 6'10" junior from Zagreb, Croatia. Falcons coached by Jay Lawson, who was within 2 wins of 500 for his career, 498 and 249. St. Michael's guided by Josh Meyer in his 4th year, 43 and 46 as the mentor at St. Michael's. Well, Falcons with a brief stop at home after the 3-game road trip. They'll be on the road for the next 2 games at Stonehill in a league contest and at AIC in a non-league contest. And then after Christmas, a couple of home games against Bridgeport and New Haven, the latter a conference game. So the longest road trip of the season is over for Bentley, and they're hoping that they can put that 3-game losing streak in the dustbin with a win tonight. Falcons going from left to right, wearing the home whites, have the first possession. Purple Knights in the road, purple, appropriately enough. On defense on the first possession, Ferguson Duke to Matt Barr, cranks up a 3 left side. A little bit short, fight for the rebound. It's eventually won by Bonds. He gets an early rebound. Holmes, left side, it's Williams. Becha in the post, jump hook is good for Bruna Becha. Not a big scorer. Averages less than 2 points a game. Better get St. Michael's off to a good start. With that, Richmond misses the jump shot. Rebound taken by Holmes. Comes in transition quickly. Trailer Williams travels. Of the 7 losses that St. Michael's has sustained this year, only 2 of them have been by single figures. A 4-point loss at Assumption and an 8-point setback at St. Thomas Aquinas. That's actually a great result because St. Thomas Aquinas is one of the best teams in the country, ranked 5th nationally this week. They're coming off a 97-82 loss at home against Stonehill, who the Falcons will play on Saturday in Easton. And we get a turnover by the Falcons as Duke stepped out of bounds on the baseline. So 3 trips for Bentley yielding no points. St. Michael's has conceded 90 points or more in every single game this year, which is kind of hard to believe. Duke to the basket gets Bentley's first 2. After the turnover. Actually, I stand corrected. Twice the Purple Knights have not given up 90. They gave up 89 in one game against Mercy and 82 against Assumption. The other 5, 90 plus. Brandon Wheeler called for the first foul of the game. And that will send Matt Bonds to the line. 75% foul shooter, 36 of 48. He's taken more free throws than any 2 of his teammates combined. The next highest total is 19. He's a good foul shooter at 75%, but barely grazes the rim on the first try. He does get the second one to go. Barr in the backcourt defended by Williams. Bouchard, who missed one of the 3 games on the road trip with a minor knee issue. Wheeler to the basket, scored and won. As he got Betcha off balance. And Wheeler with an opportunity for a 3-point play.
St. Michael's foul number 44. Bruco Becca is first, team first.
Bentley as a team shoots just under 73% at the foul line. It's actually 12th in the NE10. Wheeler at 65%. Cashes in on the and 1, and the Falcons have their first lead of the game at 5-3. Zaire Williams cranks up a 3, which is no good. Kyle Bouchard securing the rebound. Don't look for a lot of 3s from St. Mike's. They're dead last in the NE10. Well, they do average 6 a game, 42 in 7 contests. And Wheeler with a nice touch from beyond the arc. He knocks home the tray. Wheeler's 5th 3 of the season. He's 5 of 11. Percentage is good. He's got 6 in a row. Falcons lead at 8-3. Baseline fall away by Holmes is no good, but there's Matt Bonds doing what Matt Bonds does. Offensive rebound and bucket. He's a rebound machine. Led the league in rebounding last year. On track to do it again this time around. His career numbers are pretty impressive too. Get to them when we get an opportunity. Duke with a nice move with a ball fake and gets by Betcha for 2. Duke's got 4, Wheeler has 6. Bentley leads at 10-5. Sullivan gets a rare touch, misses the drive. Wheeler helps to angle Bonds out of rebounding position. And Bouchard with the rebound. Wheeler with a bounce pass baseline for Duke. Tries to find some airspace and travels. 3 substitutions coming up for St. Mike's. They include Winston Jones III, a sophomore from Valley Stream, New York. Colin Ritchie, a junior from Upton, Mass. And Stan Foster, a 6'7" freshman from Rochester. Here's Jones up to the elbow for Holmes, and he hits the 15-footer. Sullivan and Holmes stayed on the floor for St. Mike's. Jay Lawson yet to make a substitution. Bouchard, short corner, skips it across for Richmond. Head fakes on the 3, blows by a couple of defenders to the bucket, and score it. And a chance for an old-fashioned 3-point play for Ryan Richmond. Stayed composed, gave the head fake, And off he went.
St. Michael's foul on number 12, Levi Holmes. The third
Levi Holmes
is
picks
first.
up the foul.
Team
And the
second.
first Bentley substitution is
Richmond to the line,
Zach
shooting
Gilpin,
one.
who played well on the road trip, scored 10 in the loss at Southern New Hampshire, and had a double-double at St. Anselm, his first career double-double, 14 points and 12 rebounds, both of which were career highs. We got a travel called here on Richie as he tried to step into a shot a little bit too aggressively. Richmond missed the free throw, by the way, at the other end. Sophomore Derek Cheatham into the game for St. Mike's. Josh Meyer getting a lot of players involved early. Already 4 deep into the bench. Bentley by 5. Duke behind a Richmond screen. Flips it back out to Richmond. Richmond trying to get free. Can't do it. Now finds Barr. 6 on the shot clock. Barr to Wheeler. Back to Barr in the corner. Head fakes. To the basket he goes. Tries to drop it off inside. And it's a shot clock violation. Falcons unselfish to a fault on that occasion. A couple of chances to get shots off, but kept on searching for a better one. Freshman guard Seth Stankiewicz into the game for Bentley. Gives Duke a breather. Pretty crisp pace in the early going. Expect that at St. Mike's games. So many points scored. They actually score almost 80 a game themselves. And a turnover as Richie can't hang on to it. Bentley averages 80 a game. Richmond to the basket, flips it up with the right. No, tipped by Wheeler, won't go, stays with it. Still with it, Wheeler's got it off the window, and he's finally going to get to the foul line. Outstanding persistence by Brandon Wheeler eventually drew the foul out of Foster. And he'll get to the foul line for a couple of free throws.
First, team third. Brandon Wheeler to the line, shooting 2.
First one good for Wheeler. Falcons have taken more free throws than their opponents this season. Average almost 4 more free throws per game, which adds up over the course of a season. 2 for 2 for Wheeler. He's got 8 of Bentley's 14. He comes out in favor of Bouchard. The Falcons have doubled up the Purple Knights 14-7. Jones' jumper left wing is too strong. Bouchard the rebound, brings it across half court himself. Stankiewicz working one-on-one against Cheatham. Kick-out pass is deflected. Nice cornerback skills by Matt Barr to snag it before it went out of bounds. Gilpin into the lane, pitches it out. Stankiewicz fakes, pulls up from 13, rims out. Offensive rebound by Bouchard. Contact there, no whistle, missed the shot. He met Foster in the air. And without a whistle, you can call that a good defensive play, I guess. Here's Foster at the offensive end. Runs it back out to Williams. And Jones couldn't handle the pass in the paint. Bonds back in after a relatively brief rest. Bonds has led this team in scoring in 6 of their 7 games. Each time he scored at least 20. The only time he didn't lead them in scoring was Holmes with 19. And Bonds has led them in rebounding in all 7 games. Stankiewicz pulls up short corner as the double rotates over. Barr finds a gap. Falcons again searching out a good shot. Shot clock at 8. Richmond. Shot clock at 3. Barr sees it, takes a tough 3 at the top of the key. Back iron, rebounded by Bonds. Bonds in the post against Bouchard. A nice jump hook high off the window for Matt Bonds. Barr doubled in the backcourt, finds Gilpin. Stankiewicz. Good ball rotation again. Stankiewicz pulls up the foul line, misses the jumper. St. Mike's scrambling defensively. Bentley staying patient, but almost too patient sometimes. Nice hands by Bouchard, tipped it away, intended for Bonds. And we're going to get a foul against St. Michael's, I believe. This looks like it's going to be against Cheatham on a hold against Stankiewicz. Falcons lead the all-time series between these two clubs, 48-29. They won the last 3 games. A sweep last year. They beat the Purple Knights by 17 at the Dana Center and by 23 at the Ross Sports Center in Winooski. Whistle off the ball, and this might be something of a makeup call going the other way. Bouchard called for the foul. Excuse me, just a second against Bentley. These two teams will cross swords again this season in Vermont. It'll be the third to last game of the regular season for Bentley. February 15 is the date. Falcons would still hope to be in a playoff position in a very tough division by then. Free throws coming for Colin Ritchie.
Bentley University foul number 12, Seth Stankiewicz.
Stankiewicz called for the foul.
Third. Colin Ritchie to the line for St. Michael's, shooting his second shot.
Ritchie now 8 of 10, make it 9 of 11 at the foul line this season. And then the Falcons, who led 14-7 at one point, have been pegged back to 14-11. Pressure up court. Thomas Jackson, the third in the game for the Purple Knights, who've now gone 10 deep in the first 7.5 minutes. Bouchard tries to power his way to the basket on Bonds. Fires it into Duke. Ends up in Bouchard's hand, and he lays it in. Maybe not how you drew it up, but 2 points nonetheless for Kyle Bouchard, his first 2 of the game. Averaging just under 10 an outing, and travel called on Jackson. Had a couple of needless travels here. Those are the kind of turnovers that add up over the course of time. Where their turnover differential is almost 5 a game. Those extra opportunities are killers. Gilpin looks to go to the basket. Help defense came, but too much contact on the block attempt. Let's see who that's on. It might be Bonds picking up his first.
St. Michael's foul on number 21, Matt Bonds, his first. Team.
And that sends Zach Gilpin to the line. The sophomore from Hamden, Maine, makes the first of 2. Gilpin is the most productive bench player for the Falcons this season, averaging almost 9 a game. And he's 1 of 2 at the foul line here. 8 of 13 on the season at the stripe. Holmes to the basket. Nice strong move by Levi Holmes III, averaging 15 points a game. Makes it a 17-13 game. Duke behind a screen. Line drive 3 is way too strong. Holmes cut off. Bonds on the cut, comes off his knee. Purple Knights keep it. High post, Bonds faces against Wheeler. Pump fake, power move, and they get to the line.
Bentley University foul to number 10,
Matt Barr called for the foul.
Team 4. Matt Bonds to the line.
Only 1 3-pointer in this game so far. Made by the Falcons, who are 3rd in the league in threes, average 9 a game. And the 3 they made was by Brandon Wheeler, and it extends Bentley's Division II record to 801 straight games with at least 1 made 3-pointer. Goes back to December of 1989 in a game against Springfield. Bonds 1 for 2. Purple Knights almost save it. Jones did save it, but only into the hands of Richmond. 1 possession game, Falcons by 3, 9 minutes in. And Wheeler is bumped by Winston Jones III. That's his first and the 6th on the team. For those who have a long memory in the region, Winston Jones III's father, Winston Jones II, was a terrific player on some outstanding Bridgeport teams back in the late 80s and early 90s. Went to a couple of final Elite Eights as Stankiewicz with a nice banker on the left side. Ironically, the Bridgeport Purple Knights, the Winston Jones II team, and Winston Jones III playing for the Purple Knights of St. Michael's. I could tell you, having seen his dad, he was good. And Richie looked like he got tripped by Stankiewicz. The official decided that it's just incidental contact, and Richie ends up on the baseline with the basketball on his chest. It's a tough non-call there. I mean, I know it's not intentional, but it sure looked like a trip to me. Yet another Purple Knight turnover, though, is the official result of it. Bentley by 5 with the ball as we approach the midpoint of the first half. Richmond steps in and takes a long 2. Too much on it. Scramble for the ball. Richmond almost goes all the way across the width of the court to try and keep it alive. Now the Purple Knights almost turn it over. A huge scramble ends up with a nice reverse layup from Holmes. So the sloppiness is a little bit contagious. Holmes and Bonds have 6 apiece, 12 of the 16 Purple Knight points. Duke looks to penetrate on Holmes, spins nicely, no help there. And Duke easily banks it home. He's got a half dozen. Falcons have led by as many as 7 in this game. Holmes at the foul line. Bonds sends it out to Richie. Set shot 3 left wing is short. Duke snags the rebound. I think Bentley would be okay to allow St. Mike's to take the 3 as often as they want. Duke misses the 3. His shot is really flat right now. Richie's long jumper is way too strong. Bonds wins the fight for the rebound and knocks it in. And that finally brings a timeout out of Jay Lawson, who's not all that thrilled with the way his team is playing. You can just see it by the look on his face. And he decides to take the first timeout of the game. 9:15 left in the first half. Bentley up by 3. You're watching Bentley basketball on Bentley Falcons TV. Northeast 10 Conference standings coming into tonight's game in the Northeast Division. Southern New Hampshire atop the pile at 4-0. St. Anselm and Franklin Pierce at 4-2, right behind the Merrimack at 3-2. They occupy the first 4 spots. Bentley and Stonehill both at 2-3. Stonehill playing Southern New Hampshire tonight, by the way. Assumption right behind it, 2-4, and St. Mike's at 0-5. So already you could see the pecking order for playoff positioning. Top 5 in the division make the playoffs. It is a minefield. It's a very difficult division. Bouchard fouled on the spin move by Sullivan. St. Michael's shooting almost 54%, 7 of 13. Bentley is at 42%. They've taken 6 more shots, 8 of 19. St. Mike's has committed twice as many turnovers, so that is going according to the statistical norm, 8-4. Bouchard misses the front end of the one-on-one, but Tyler Gibson just in the game, cleans it up and lays it in. That's how to make an impact for Tyler Gibson, the senior forward, immediately getting involved on the offensive glass. He's defending Betcha in the post, who stays in the post for too long and is called for 3 seconds. I was wondering when they were going to call that one. He was in there for quite a while. Bouchard, Barr, Stankiewicz, Richmond, and Gibson are the 5 on the floor for Jay Lawson. In his 26th season, 2 wins shy of 500. Richmond in the lane, drops it off to Bouchard. Power dribble, swallowed up, and a nice block there. I think it was Foster who got that one. Ritchie with a nice pass inside for Sullivan, who's bumped to the ground by Stankiewicz. Nice off-the-ball movement on the baseline by Sullivan, and a good delivery by Ritchie.
Bentley University foul on number 12, Seth Stankiewicz, his
Second foul on Stankiewicz. And a couple of free throws coming for David Sullivan. 12 of 16 at the line this season, averaging almost 6 points a game. Purple Knights are actually pretty competent offensively. If you look at that in isolation, I did mention they're averaging almost 80 points a game, which is not bad. And Sullivan makes both free throws. Their shooting numbers are good. They're 4th in the league in field goal percentage. They're over 48%. They're 2nd in three-point percentage, even though they don't make or take many. At least they shoot it efficiently, over 42%. Middle of the pack at the foul line, just about 75%. So offensively, they certainly are more than decent. Just that defensive sticking point, they just have had all sorts of difficulty stopping teams. Bouchard's corner 3 is too strong. Duke runs down the long rebound. Duke feeds to Gibson inside. A swooping move by Tyler Gibson for his second bucket, giving the Falcons a nice boost off the bench. Bonds in the lane, spins, and a jump ball as Bouchard tied him up. Will stay St. Michael's ball with 22 on the shot clock. Foster cranks up a 3 and misses it. Long rebound grab by Sullivan. Bonds in the post against Bouchard. Spins to the left, tough turnaround off the window. A touch by Matt Bonds. He's got 10. First player into double figures. And it's a 1-possession game. Actually, probably lower scoring than you would think. Barr's corner 3 on the way. In and out. Falcons have not found the range from three-point land. Wheeler made one early, but other than that, Falcons have come up dry. 1 of 7 from beyond the arc right now. Bonds isolated against Gibson. Kicks it out to the perimeter. Cheatham misses the 3. Richmond's called for a travel. He got the rebound and went to the ground. Jay Lawson asking, well, if he went to the ground, maybe he got pushed. But he's not going to win that argument. So St. Michael's gets a reset on the shot clock and will put it in play on the baseline. Holmes tries his hand at a 3 and hits it. Levi Holmes with 9, and the game is tied at 25. Barr forced into a timeout by a trap at midcourt. Jay Lawson decides it's a 30, but frustrated with the way that's going. St. Michael's managing to stay in the game here. Bentley not able to take advantage of some open shots. And St. Mike's has fought their way back to tie the game at 25. Falcons 3-1 at home. It's their first home game in more than 2 weeks. St. Mike's has played 3 true road games and obviously has lost them all. I mentioned that the Falcons have won the last 3 in the series between the two teams that started back in the 1972-73 season. And they've faced each other annually since then. For many years they were not in the same league. Well, the Northeast 10 didn't actually exist until the early 80s, but for about a decade they would play each other as independents. And then Bentley, a member of the Northeast 7/8/10 before St. Mike's joined. They still played each other. Gilpin's corner 3 is short. The rebound tipped by Ritchie into the hands of Holmes. Purple Knights a chance to take the lead. Sullivan accelerates to the basket and misses a wild shot. Looks for a call, which he's not going to get. Duke looks to go hard in transition at the other end. That won't count. It's a charge on Duke. Got up to top speed pretty quickly, but
Offensive foul on
the
Bentley.
contact was made well away from the basket, and you could see that one coming.
His first, team sixth.
Purple Knights trying to take the lead again. Sullivan to the bucket. Stopped there by a combination of Duke, Richmond, and Gilpin, and missed the shot. Barr almost pulled the trigger on a three, drops it inside to Gilpin. His turnaround jumper is all net. First field goal for Gilpin. Breaks the tie, puts Bentley back on top as we approach the 5-minute mark. Richie playing screen and roll with Bonds, who's got Richmond on his back. Bonds gives it up surprisingly, goes to Sullivan in the lane. Now Holmes, left side three on the way, got it. St. Mike's has themselves the lead at 28-27. Holmes with a dozen. When you look at St. Michael's, you look at Bonds and his eye-popping numbers, which are certainly legit. You forget about Holmes a little bit as Barr turns it over. Got out of control on the drive, tried to cross lane bounce pass and didn't come anywhere near finding a teammate. But Levi Holmes, the third, very good player in his own right, and he is only a sophomore. A very versatile player, averages 15 a game. Shoots the ball really well. Got good size too at 6'5", can shoot over defenders. Winston Jones, the third, sends it out to the perimeter. Now Holmes, wide open three on the left, hits another one. Third three for Holmes, he's got 15, and this time Jay Lawson wants a full timeout as St. Michael's has extended the lead to 31-27. 4:24 left in the first half. You're watching Bentley basketball on Bentley Falcons TV. St. Michael's shooting over 52%. That's helped them take the lead here at the Dana Center. As we come out of the timeout, Bentley shooting at 42%. Falcons 1 of 8 from three-point range. St. Michael's 3 of 7. Reversal of form there. Richmond to the basket. Gets the call. It might be the second on Levi Holmes, the third.
St. Michael's foul
Nope,
number
nope,
12.
it is the second.
Holmes, the third is second.
And Richmond will get to the foul line.
Eighth. Bentley in the bonus.
Richmond had a couple of really good games on the road trip. 21 points, 13 rebounds. The latter are career high against Dominican. And then he busted out for 32 at St. Anselm. Made 14 of 20 shots, including a trio of threes. Hasn't really gotten into gear yet today. The free throw is his third point. And the Toronto native makes the second as well. Bring Bentley to within 2. Gibson, Bouchard, Duke, and Chris Murray making first appearance on the floor for Bentley along with Richmond. Cheatham looks inside for Winston Jones. He gets fouled by Bouchard. And that'll send Jones to the line for a couple of free throws. Averaging almost 6 points a game. Only 9 free throws this season so far for Jones. He's made 6 of them. Unable to convert on the first. Gilpin replaces Bouchard, who goes to the bench with 2 fouls. And Jones coaxes the second one in. Purple Knights put some pressure up court. Now they back off as Richmond brings it up against Sullivan. 3-point Purple Knight lead, 3:45 to go in the first half. Gilpin in the lane sends it out to Richmond. Murray on the left picks up the dribble, skips it all the way across. Gilpin with a bounce pass across the lane. Too hot to handle for Gibson. Not much penetration on that particular possession for Bentley. Once they got it, they then turned it over. Turnovers are close to even now. The last check, it was 9-7. Bonds against Gibson, who holds his ground. Bonds goes to the jump hook and swishes it in. Bonds has 12, Holmes has 15. 27 of the 34 St. Michael's points. They lead by 5. Richmond straight away for 3. Wide left. And we're going to get a loose ball foul against Bentley while the shot was in the air. Tyler Gibson, the guilty party. The Falcons over the limit, so a one-on-one opportunity for Bonds. St. Mike 7 of 10 at the line. Bonds misses the front end though. He's just 2 of 5 today at the line. Lets Bentley off the hook. Purple Knights have the momentum here. They're defending better than normal here. Done a nice job scrambling around. Stankiewicz for 3. The line drive from the freshman is good. Falcons got to make a couple perimeter shots to loosen up St. Michael's defensively, and Stankiewicz right on cue drills that one. Jumper in the key for Zaire Williams, gets 2 back. 4-point Purple Knight lead. Gilpin in the corner. That's Richmond. Stankiewicz a little bit surprised, but still managed to make the catch. And he's called for a double dribble. Just out of sorts on that play right from the start. As he was starting a cut as the ball came his way, had to reach back and managed to catch it, but never really settled himself down. And the Falcons giving the ball away a little bit too much frequency for Jay Lawson's liking, down by 4. Bonds and Holmes both on the bench for St. Mike's at the moment, as Winston Jones misses a jump hook. It's rare that both of the big scorers are off the floor, and Wheeler's going to get to the line. Reach in on Jones, his second foul.
Number 20, Winston Jones, the second, his second. Team 9.
Wheeler with a team high 8 points.
Brandon Wheeler to the line.
Steps to the line. He's 4-4 now at the stripe, and Jones comes out in favor of Bonds, whose rest is very brief.
Wheeler shooting his second shot.
A rare first half appearance upcoming for Matt Turkington for Bentley. The junior from Connecticut replaces Stankiewicz. Wheeler makes both foul shots. He's the first Falcon into double figures. Ritchie with the pull-up baseline won't go. Gilpin with the rebound. Bentley can tie it with a 2 or take a lead with a 3. Minute 10 to go in the first half. Jerkington gets his first touch. Now it's Barr. Richmond for 3 left side. Short. Long rebound taken by Foster. Jerkington defending Ritchie. Bonds comes to the right elbow. Hesitation dribble to the basket, comes up short. Barr wins the rebounding battle. Shot and game clock are just about in sync. Less than a second difference between the two as we click down to 10 seconds. Richmond looking to get into a move here. Gets by Bonds to the basket, rejected. Great help defense from Foster. Timed that perfectly. 2 on the shot clock, 2.9 on the game clock. And Gibson comes in for Wheeler. See what the Falcons come up with on the baseline inbound. In the corner, Richmond got to get the shot off, takes the long 2. And that's a shot clock violation, and the ball just bounced free at that. Theoretically, you could have put less than a second back on the clock, but both teams sprinting off the floor. And the officials letting them do it, so that will bring the first half to an end with St. Michael's on top, 36-34. The pair of Levi Holmes III with 15 points and Matt Bonds with 12, predictably leading St. Michael's in scoring. But they've defended well. They've held Bentley to just 34 points in the first half, and they deserve their 2-point lead at the break. Brandon Wheeler's 10 leading the way for Bentley. So halftime at the Dana Center, we'll take a break along with the teams. We'll come back just before the start of the second half, run through the first half numbers, and get ready for the final 20 minutes of action here at the Dana Center. 36-34, St. Michael's leads Bentley. You're watching Bentley basketball on Bentley Falcons TV. Welcome back to the Dana Center. We are at halftime where St. Michael's leads Bentley 36-34. Steve Zarelli courtside. Good to have you with us on Bentley Falcons TV. In the first half where St. Michael's shot an even 50% from the field, 13 of 26. Bentley struggling a little bit, 38.7%, 12 of 31, including 2 of 11 from three-point land. And the shooting really was the difference because everywhere else, things were pretty even. Rebounds dead even at 18 apiece. Free throws almost dead even. Bentley 8 of 11. St. Michael's 7 of 11. Turnovers dead even at 9 apiece. Points in the paint. Bentley +4. Points off turnovers. St. Mike's had a little bit of an edge there, 13-5, despite the teams having the same number of turnovers. So shooting and maybe the turnover production, the two differences that put St. Michael's into the lead. Their two top scorers, as expected, Levi Holmes III, an excellent first half. In 10 minutes, 15 points, 6 of 7 from the field, including a perfect 3 of 3 from three-point range. Matt Bonds, meanwhile, 12 points, 7 rebounds, combining for 27 of the 36 points. Meanwhile, for Bentley, Brandon Wheeler had 10 points, including a perfect 5 of 5 at the foul line. He had 4 rebounds, joining Kyle Bouchard as the top rebounder for the Falcons. 6 points, 3 boards for Ferguson Duke, 5 points for Seth Stankiewicz, and 4 for Tyler Gibson, the latter two off the bench. So the Falcons looking to end their 3-game slide. The road trip didn't go the way they wanted it to, and their 4-1 start, a little bit of a memory now. They want to turn things around tonight. St. Mike's, meanwhile, thinking that this might be the night they get the first win of the season. They're 0-7, but they played well enough in the first half to deserve their lead. Bentley with the first possession of the second half, going from right to left, and we're underway. Each team with their original starting fives on the floor. Nobody with more than 2 fouls in the game in the first half. Ferguson Duke for Bentley. Skips it over to Kyle Bouchard in the paint. Out to the top for Matt Barr. Cranks up the 3 and knocks it in. And a good start for the Falcons. Barr had a tough first half, 0 for 3 from the floor, but it gets off well there, and the Falcons quickly take the lead on their first possession. Bruno Beccia in the post, played only 4 minutes in the first half, scored their first basket, powers his way to the bucket. Jump hook is way off the mark. Bonds, Holmes, Zaire Williams, and David Sullivan, the other players on the floor for the Purple Knights to start the second half. Bentley with the lead in the ball. Bouchard in the right corner. Gets it back. Wheeler tries to shoot the gap, drops it off to Duke. Baseline jumper, too strong. Beccia had the rebound, but it was jarred free. Duke couldn't hang on to it, scramble on the floor. Eventually it ends up in Beccia's hands. Bonds spins in the post, pulls the string on the jump hook, and the rebound last touch by Bonds. Strong half for Bonds, 12-7, extrapolated out, 24-14. That's slightly better than his seasonal averages. Comes into this game 30th on the all-time St. Michael scoring list, over 1,100 career points. 859 rebounds coming into the game, 8th on the all-time list. Wheeler for 3, too strong, long rebound, batted about, and it will be Bentley basketball. And for Bonds, if he continues his current rate of rebounding, he'll break the 1,000 rebound mark by the time his season is over. That would be in the top 3 all time at St. Michael's. Bouchard's perimeter J won't go. Williams baseline. Bonds has it picked away by Wheeler. Great hustle on the floor by Sullivan. And now 4 players on the floor. It's a tie-up between Holmes and Barr. The arrow favors St. Michael's with 16 on the shot clock. Just to wrap that up about Bonds, if he continues at his current rebound rate, he would break 1,000, and that would put him at least 3rd on the all-time list. Number 2 on the list at St. Michael's, Hank Gretkowski from the class of 1959. Over 1,100 rebounds. It would take quite a rebounding flourish for Bonds to catch the all-time leader, Ken Johnson, in the class of 76, 1,347 rebounds he had in his career. He's more focused on trying to get a win tonight. Here's Holmes to the basket, pump fake, and he frees himself up for 2. 17 for Levi Holmes, the 3rd. St. Michael's back on top by a point. Falcons led by as many as 7 in the first half. Richmond to the basket, not much room to work with. Bonds snags the rebound. Sullivan in transition. And to the left for the trailer and Foster, and he throws it down. Stan Foster, the freshman, gets his first points, running the lane in transition. And a nice delivery results in the dunk. Bouchard and Bonds involved in a little bit of physical play there. No whistles off the ball. Duke, right side, dumps into the post for Bouchard. Foster defending him. Bouchard powers it up and misses. Bonds another rebound. Quick turn and flip to Sullivan. He's a step ahead of the pack and is fouled on the way up to the hoop. Stankiewicz that got him. Third foul on Seth Stankiewicz. So after Barr makes the 3 to start the scoring in the second half, Purple Knights have scored the last 6 and a chance for a couple more. Sullivan's first one drops. Four points now for Sullivan. 5-point lead matches St. Michael's largest of the game. Duke in the corner, Wheeler, clean look, Richmond clean look for 3, and it's good. A little secondary break there. Richmond holds his corner and knocks home the 3. He's got 7. Brings Bentley to within 2. Holmes using a Bond screen. Top of the key 3 off the iron. Scrap for the rebound ends up in Bond's hands and he lays it in. Kept alive underneath by Foster and Bond's there to clean it up. In the front court, Stankiewicz corner 3 is short. Tipped out by Bouchard, only picked up by Bonds, who's already in full flight. Now to Sullivan in transition, and he's got a chance for a 3-point play. Purple Knights keeping Bentley to 1 shot, getting going in transition, and they've been productive there all right. Richmond called for the foul there. Jay Lawson sends Barr, Gilpin, and Gibson into the game. Purple Knights feeling pretty good about themselves. And Jay Lawson will take a 30-second timeout before the free throw by Sullivan. Purple Knights on a 10-3 spurt to take their largest lead of the game, 46-40. They're looking for their first victory of the season. And they're also looking to break a 3-game losing streak in this particular series. Bentley's won the last 3. Before that, St. Mike's had won 4 in a row, which actually was their longest winning streak in this long-time series. They'd won 6 of 7 in that particular stretch. But for Jay Lawson, the concern about his team is not being able to make some open shots and being burned in transition here in the second half. In particular, when you look at players like Holmes and Bonds, in particular Bonds, great rebounders, and they can turn to put the ball on the floor. They don't have to wait for an outlet to get things going offensively. They can do it themselves. Sullivan now with 7 points as he tacks on the free throw. 11-3 run for St. Mike's, their largest lead of 7. Gibson inside, doesn't get any whistles there. Foster made some contact, but not enough to draw the call. Gibson misses the shot. Sullivan to the basket, gets right past Richmond. Gibson a little bit too late in help. David Sullivan now with 7 points in the half, 9 overall. A 13-3 run. Falcons can't wait too long to respond here. Richmond with a crossover dribble gets in the lane. And we get a foul against the Purple Knights. I think it's Bonds, who did not agree with the call. It's his second personal.
second.
Falcons need a spark offensively from somebody.
Team first.
Gilpin gets by Bonds, rejected at the rim by Foster. There's a whistle, and I think they're going to get Foster on it. I'm not sure who that foul is on. That was a clean block from Foster as Gilpin hit the floor. It's after that, as Bonds is called for his third foul. Gibson trying to get the putback. So the Falcons will get a couple of free throws out of it, and maybe a little bit of a break with Bonds picking up his third foul. That was quite the block from Foster. And Gibson misses the first of 2 free throws, though.
Gibson shooting his second shot.
Gibson now an even 50% at the line. 8 of 16 on the season. Makes the second, though. Jay Lawson trying to find a combination that'll get his team going offensively. Barr, Duke, Gilpin, Wheeler, and Gibson are the 5 on the floor right now. They also need to play some defense. Colin Ritchie has it knocked away by Barr. Wheeler in transition to the basket, and he draws the foul. Take your pick on who the foul was on. There were 3 Purple Knights there. Wheeler picking himself up and making sure everything still works. Cheatham picks up his second foul. And Wheeler makes his way somewhat gingerly to the line. A little wry smile from Colin Ritchie. I think we all know what that's about. So Wheeler with a team high 10 points and a perfect 5 of 5 at the line. We'll see what he can do here with 14:50 to go. And briefly, St. Michael's was without either Bonds or Holmes on the floor. Levi Holmes quickly changes that status by coming back out there. Bonds is sitting on the bench with 3 fouls. We'll see how long Josh Meyer decides to leave him there. Might depend on how the game is going. Wheeler makes both foul shots. 7 in a row for Brendan Wheeler at the line, a team high 12. 6-point game. And Duke almost forces a turnover. Ritchie defended by Wheeler. Cheatham off the curl. And he's fouled. We'll have to see if that's a shooting foul or not. It is on Ferguson Duke. Yeah, it is. The shot almost went in as Cheatham split a couple of defenders. Well, maybe not. Okay, it's not shooting. Looked like Joe Smoot, the official, indicated 2 shots, but must have been my bad. Cheatham, left side of the key, pulls up and sinks along 2. First points of the game for Derek Cheatham, the sophomore from Buffalo. 8-point Purple Knight lead, led by as many as 9. Gilpin right corner, travels. Wanted to get into the move, but forgot to put the ball on the deck first. Falcons searching for some answers here, particularly offensively. All they're getting are more questions. Ritchie looks to go baseline after the pump fake. Cheatham's 3 is, Foster's 3 is too strong. Duke to Gilpin. Duke a little reluctant to shoot. Gilpin to the basket, swatted away by Foster, recovered in the corner by Richmond. Shot clock still at 13. Duke to Gilpin. Wheeler from 17 feet comes up short. Gibson keeps it alive, surrounded by 4 Purple Knights. It's a hell ball, which will go Bentley's way. Great job by Gibson to make sure he got some of that basketball and preserve the possession for Bentley. And Josh Meyer's going to call a timeout before we get an inbound. 13-19 remaining in the second half. St. Michael's on top by 8. You're watching Bentley basketball on Bentley Falcons TV. 51-43, St. Michael's leading it. 13 and change to go in the second half. Bentley just 2 of 12 from the field in the second half. 32% overall. St. Michael's, meanwhile, 6 of 10 from the floor. Outscored Bentley by 6 points in the second half. Falcons will try again to put it in bounds. Let's see if the shot clock is moved from 30 to 29. Falcons struggling to get the offense going, no doubt about that. 4 of 16 from three-point land. This is a team that when they score 80 or more points this season, they won 4 out of 5 games. They put up only 67 in the loss at Southern New Hampshire, their second lowest of the season. We still have a bit of a delay here. Falcons will be at Stonehill on Saturday in a conference game. And on December 19 at AIC in a non-league game. They wrap up the calendar year with a non-conference contest here at the Dana Center against Bridgeport on Friday, December 30th. And after that, all Northeast 10 conference play. St. Michael's, meanwhile, takes the trip to Southern New Hampshire on Saturday to take on the Penmen. And then they'll play 3 non-league games before going back into Northeast 10 play for good. They'll head to upstate New York to take on Damon on the 19th. Home games against Dominican and New York Tech at the turn of the year. Back to the action. Falcons trailing by 8. Zach Gilpin defended by Winston Jones. Now it's Wheeler to the basket. Ball fake. Duke to the basket. Score it and one. Nice pass by Wheeler and a good cut by Duke. They managed to find the range on a tough angle banker, and he'll get a chance for a three-point opportunity. Winston Jones called for his third foul. Duke with 8 points will get to the foul line for the first time today. 82% foul shooter. He's taken the second most free throws on the team coming into the game. Yep. This is the free throw. The bucket made it a 6-point game. Here's Levi Holmes to the basket against Stankiewicz. Tries to drop it off inside. Finds Jones. His jump hook won't go. Richmond above the pack on the second chance for the rebound. Duke pump fakes and tripped by Holmes on his way by. Third foul on Levi Holmes, the third. He's got 3, so does Matt Bonds, who's currently on the bench.
Purple Knights foul on number 21, Matt Bonds.
5th team foul.
Excuse me, on 12, Levi Holmes, the third, his third, team 5th.
No bonus yet for Bentley. Put it in play on the side, down 6. Gilpin. Now Richmond. Wheeler posting against Jones. Stankiewicz in the key, fires and buries the jumper. 7 for Stankiewicz. Bentley's crept to within 4. And for St. Michael's, both Holmes and Bonds are on the bench, although Bonds is at the scorer's table, ready to come in at the next opportunity. And a steal by Richmond took it away from Sullivan. He managed to get a piece of him before he got going the other way. It'll be team foul number 6. So no bonus yet still for Bentley, but turnover gives them the opportunity to get a little closer. Well, that does allow Bonds to come back on the floor. Falcons trying to get things going with some defense. They managed to cut the lead in half since the timeout. Richmond for Gilpin. Wheeler posting on the smaller Sullivan. Gets it and is called for a double dribble. There was some contact there as he tried to move past Sullivan, but the dribble was clearly interrupted and not enough contact for a foul, so that was a good call. Not how the Falcons wanted the possession to go, but that's how it went. Bonds on the drive, scoops it up and under, doesn't work on the English, stays on the offensive glass and cleans it up for 2. Missed the initial shot, but He's just so quick to go back and get it. Very difficult to put a body on a guy that is that quick and that determined to get rebounds. Duke to the basket, and a travel is called before he got there.
Purple Knights ball.
There was haste to get to the basket. Duke just took the extra step, forcing the action just a little bit. Still more than enough time. 11 and a half minutes remaining, Bentley down 6. But you can feel a little hint of urgency here for the two teams, for differing reasons, of course. Bonds working against Wheeler, sweeps through, goes to the jump hook right to the rim. That move and a quick dribble with no double coming, and there's not much Wheeler can do about it. Back-to-back hoops for Bonds, back to an 8-point game for St. Mike's, just like that. Wheeler puts it to the floor, sends it in the corner for Stankiewicz. Nice bounce feed inside for Wheeler. Nice two-man game there. Wheeler ends up with the basket. Stankiewicz with the assist. Bonds aware he doesn't want to overcommit and pick up a fourth foul. Now Wheeler's called for a foul, trying to push Bonds out and pushed him too far and too hard. His second, team's fourth. Bouchard will come back in for Bentley. Holmes and Jones return for St. Michael's.
Bentley foul on number 25, Brandon Wheeler, his second, team fourth.
Inbound to Bonds inside, score it and one. A good delivery from Williams as Bonds shook free on the inbound, and he'll get a chance for a three-point play. So after Bentley had cut the lead from 8 to 4, Matt Bonds has stepped into the spotlight. And completes a three-point play. And once again, the Purple Knights have a 9-point lead, matching their largest of the game. And that's the frustrating part for Bentley. They had crept a little closer, cut the lead to 4, had some good defensive possessions, but once Bonds got back on the floor, they just broke out and have gone to him, and Bonds has delivered. So we got a question on who the foul was on, and officials trying to figure it out, and the scores table also trying to make sure they get it right. Maybe this will help Bentley because St. Mike's was the team with the momentum. For an 0-7 team, body language is great for St. Michael's. Touched on it earlier that only 2 of their 7 games this year have been decided by single digits. Season opener, they lost at St. Thomas Aquinas by 8. And they dropped the game at Assumption by 4. That came on November 19, so officials try to figure out exactly what's what and who's who. Falcons travel to Stonehill on Saturday, and the Skyhawks are in action tonight against Southern New Hampshire, the league-leading Penmen. And right now it's Stonehill in control of that game. There's only 2 minutes to go, and the Skyhawks lead by 15. That would constitute something of an upset. Despite their 4-4 record, Stonehill is a pretty potent team. And if they can hand the unbeaten Penmen their first loss, they'd be full of confidence for Saturday's game. Bentley, meanwhile, has got 10 minutes and change to try and turn this one around, down by 9. Zach Gilpin to the bucket, fires across the lane for Bouchard. Left corner, Stankiewicz, short on the 3. Long rebound tracked down by Zaire Williams. Purple Knights have a chance to make it a double-figure lead here. And they've got their 2 big guns who have combined for 38 points on the floor. Bonds in the lane, skips it to the corner. Williams gets it back from Bonds. Advances against Bouchard and traveled. Bouchard picking up Williams on the switch. Did well not to dive in and just held his ground. Matt Barr replaces Gilpin. Falcons have scored 49 points in 30 minutes. They average 80 a game. Travel on Stankiewicz. Again, the feet going too quickly. You can feel some of the anxiousness in the Bentley play. It seems like they want to do everything sometimes too often as opposed to just getting points on a particular possession and working from there. Bonds against Wheeler, stripped away underneath. Jones picks up the loose ball, misses it. Bonds stays with it, and he gets fouled inside. Bonds doing things all by himself inside. A couple of chances there for the Purple Knights, and it is going to be Bonds getting free throws as Bouchard is called for his third.
Foul on number 20, Kyle Bouchard, his fourth, team sixth.
Bonds uncharacteristically struggling a little at the foul line. He's now 3 of 7. This is a guy shooting 75% from the line coming into today's game. It's about the only thing he hasn't done well. See if he can salvage the second one. Nope, doesn't do it. Falcons get a little break there. Still a 9-point deficit though. They've got to get something going offensively. Top of the key three for Wheeler won't go. Gibson tries to tip it in. Didn't get the angle on it, and Bonds cleans it up. Unofficially, I've got Bonds for 15 rebounds to go with 21 points. Officially, he's probably got more than that. He just gets them in bunches. And again, St. Mike's is going to go to the line as Gibson is called for the foul. And now Bentley's over the limit.
22, Tyler Gibson is second. Bentley's 17th foul.
This will send Winston Jones to the line for a couple of free throws. He split 2 in the first half. And for the first time, Purple Knights have a double-figure lead. And second one is good as well for Jones. 60-49, Purple Knights on top. I think this is one of the situations where you can say to Jay Lawson, I mean, he probably knew there were going to be some stretches like this. Barr for 3 in the corner, got it. Big shot, Falcons needed something. There are going to be stretches after losing the offensive firepower that they lost last year where they would struggle offensively and have some difficulties finding an identity. Travel called on Holmes as he and Barr bumped. I'm not sure there were steps there, but I guess there were. So the question for Lawson and for his team, how do they fight out of this offensive funk and how do they find a way back into the game? There are more ways than just making shots. You can do it defensively, you can pound the glass, get to the foul line. Richmond to the basket, scoop shot is good. So a 5-point uprising here for Bentley. Takes an 11-point lead and whittles it down to 6. Bonds was on the bench for a brief rest. He's back at the scorer's table. It can't be a coincidence. Holmes loses the handle momentarily, finds Ritchie. And Barr is going to be called for a foul apparently against Ritchie. Not sure exactly what he did, but he did enough to get a whistle. And since the Falcons are over the limit, 1-on-1 for Ritchie, and that gives Bonds a chance to come back in. Holmes will take a seat.
On Ritchie to the line, shooting 1-on-1.
Yeah, Ritchie short on the front end. So maybe an opportunity for the Falcons here to keep the momentum going. They've scored 5 in a row. Wheeler puts it to the deck, feeds it to Gibson inside, rejected by Cheatham, stays with it, and the second chance is good for Gibson. Didn't give up the ghost, stuck with it despite the shot being rejected initially. The Falcons have scored 7 in a row and they're within 4. Under 8 minutes to go. They needed a burst. They got a little one and travel called on Bonds. And we get a timeout on the floor. Josh Meyer seeing his team losing the momentum that they had for most of this half. Bentley has cut an 11-point lead to 4, and they have the basketball. 7:48 to go. Falcons trail by 4. You're watching Bentley basketball on Bentley Falcons TV. For one of the few times in the second half, we can say Bentley has the momentum. They've scored 7 in a row, and they've cut St. Michael's lead to 4. St. Mike's still shooting great, 51%. Bentley at 39%. Matt Bonds, 20 points, 15 boards. 9 of 12 from the field, but just 3 of 7 at the foul line. Bentley with the ball as we come back to it. Richmond pull up for 2. Won't go. Gibson on the glass. The tip in is good. Back-to-back hoops for Tyler Gibson. 9 in a row for Bentley. And it's a 2-point game. And now the pressure is on St. Michael's to respond. Bonds in the paint. Shot was halfway down and rimmed out. But he'll get to the foul line. Wheeler called for his 3rd foul.
Bentley foul on number 25, Brandon Wheeler, his 3rd.
Seems like Bonds can get the ball 15, 16 feet away from the basket, take one dribble and one step, and all of a sudden he's right at the rim. Got a casual ability to sort of slide his way to the basket, and he just can't make a free throw right now. 3 of 9. And hits the second one. Maybe it would be a good thing to just send him to the foul line the way it's going. 3-point game, 7:20 remaining. And Bentley's fought their way back into the game. At the very least, hold your ground. Don't give up any territory. Gilpin drops it back to Wheeler and threw it into the backcourt. That's exactly the kind of thing that Bentley can't afford. An unforced turnover when you've got some momentum going your way. 14 turnovers each. St. Michael's has scored more off Bentley turnovers than vice versa, 16-9. Bonds inside, score it, and 1. And they just keep going to Matt Bonds, and he's going to keep on delivering. Bentley trying to throw multiple defenders his way, but it's not working. And the cheap turnover at the other end could cost Bentley 3 points and really stick a pin in the comeback attempt here. They got within 2. Bonds continues to struggle at the foul line. It's the only saving grace here for Bentley is that St. Mike's is having a tough time there. And that's last off Richmond. And again, the Falcons with an offensive miscue. It's just an unforgivable thing. You can't come back if you're going to keep turning the ball over like that. They got within 2. Now it's 5. Holmes, Bonds, 2-man game. Bonds inside, a little bit off balance, missed it, stays with it, and Gibson rips the rebound away from him. He's played well off the bench. Tyler Gibson with 9 points. Gilpin for Richmond. Now it's Barr. Gibson in the post. And if that's Holmes, that's going to be 4 on him. Tyler Gibson, by the way, has a career high tonight with 9.
St. Michael's foul on number 12, Levi Holmes, the third, his fourth.
And it is Holmes' 4th foul. In fairness, he's had a quiet second half. 15 of his 17 came in the first half, but he is an important component for St. Michael's. And he'll go to the bench with 6:12 to go. Richmond at the line for a 1-and-1. And can't take advantage of it. Bonds in the post, couple of dribbles. Gibson stands up to him. Skip pass across the line for Sullivan, who makes a tough shot high off the window. 11 now for David Sullivan. I think Jay Lawson's going to call a timeout after Bentley had cut the lead to 2. St. Mike's has scored 5 in a row to push the lead back to 7. And with 5:49 to go, the teams will repair to the bench. 7-point St. Michael's lead. You're watching Bentley basketball on Bentley Falcons TV. (65-58). St. Michael's leads it. Bentley will put it in play at half court. Falcons 5 of 18 from three-point range. Zach Gilpin, corner 3 on the way. Short, Tyler Gibson on an offensive rebound, tripped on the way up. That should be goaltending too, and that will be a foolish move by Derek Cheatham. Gives Gibson a gift of 2, and the free throw's coming because of the foul. Well, Cheatham making an underclass mistake there big time. That shot was well short. A foul's on Winston Jones, and now a chance for a three-point play for Gibson, who now has his first ever double-figure game as a college player, has 11. And the free throw catches a lot of iron, but goes 12 points for Tyler Gibson. And just when the Falcons needed something to feel good about, they get a three-point play. That's a 4-point game. Jones, defended by Gilpin, skips it across. Finds Zaire Williams. Now Bonds in the post, faces up against Gibson. Williams tries the 3 at the top of the key and hits it. Big 3 for Zaire Williams. He's not a noted three-point shooter, that's for sure. Only 6 this season. Make it 7. Gets the 3 back that Gibson just had. Those are plays that can decide games. They might go unnoticed, but it's a big shot. Under 5 to go. Richmond forces his way in the lane, score it, and 1. Somehow slid it away from Bonds at the foul line. The Hope defense was a little late, and Richmond has a chance for a three-point play.
St. Michael's foul on number 3, Derek Cheatham, his 3rd.
Cheatham picks up his 3rd. Richmond another opportunity at the foul line here. He's 2 of 4 at the line today. Cashes in on that. I think starting to pick up a little bit at both ends offensively. And it's back to a 4-point differential. St. Mike's trying to win their first game of the season after 7 losses. Bentley trying to end a 3-game losing streak. Sullivan gets a running start. Back over to Williams. Bond's giving a screen. Williams tries to find him. Shot clock at 3. Cheatham, a line drive jumper, is short. Rebounded by Gibson. Here comes Barr in transition to Gibson. Into the corner for Wheeler. That's a good idea. Wheeler finds himself shut off. Gilpin, 3 in the corner. Got it! Big bucket for Gilpin, his first 3. Nice work by both Gibson and Wheeler not to turn the ball over when it looked like it certainly could happen, and the 3 makes it a 1-point game. Bonds into the paint. Offensive foul on Matt Bonds, his 4th. That's a big call too. Bonds made the shot. Could have been a 3-point play, but that's a big call. And now both Levi Holmes III and Matt Bonds have 4 fouls. Meanwhile, Bentley an opportunity to take the lead with this possession. Tyler Gibson, 11 points, 7 rebounds, 5 of them offensive. Gibson giving the screen. Richmond in the corner for Wheeler. 3.5 to go. Off the curl, Gilpin. Now Wheeler into the lane. Throws it up. Can't get the roll. Gibson keeps it alive, but Holmes runs it down. Good efforts both ways. Bonds took a chance there on a shot block attempt. Could have been a foul. Now Sullivan slaloms underneath the basket, and Holmes can't hang on to the corner pass. A little bit to his left. And out of bounds. So again, Falcons a chance to take the lead. Their last lead was early in this half. Matt Barr hit a 3 to open the scoring in the second half, and Bentley was up by a point. Since then, they've trailed. Richmond in the lane, drops it off to Wheeler, inside, score it, and the Falcons have the lead. Comes off the penetration from Ryan Richmond. And with 3 minutes to go, the Falcons have grabbed a 1-point lead. St. Mike's gets it right back as Matt Bonds now has 26. Good deep position. Richmond doubled in the backcourt. Sullivan and Bonds there, but they retreat. Richmond keeps the dribble alive. Gibson posting against Sullivan. Into the lane, pump fake, Gibson score it. What a game for Tyler Gibson. He's got 14. A career game, just keeps getting better and better for Gibson. 2:15 to go. Bentley back on top by a point on the seesaw. Here's Holmes. Works with Bonds. Step back 3 on the way. Well short. Saved in bounds. Terrific save by, I think it was Foster who saved that. Shot clock didn't reset though. It's down to 8. Bonds inside, has his shot blocked, and it's a travel. Actually wasn't blocked. Nobody ever touched it. A wild sequence there. The air ball 3 by Holmes. An athletic save by Foster on the baseline. And Bonds looked like he had a chance to get the shot up to the rim, but ends up traveling with it. Minute 52 to go. Bentley with the basketball and the lead. Haven't said that very often in this game, at least in the second half. Stankiewicz back on the floor for Bentley. Replaces Gibson. He's got it now for Gilpin. Cross-court pass almost stolen. Scramble for the ball, and it's going to be Bentley basketball. Sullivan diving on the floor, undercutting Barr. Fortunately, everybody's okay. Sullivan was out of bounds as he dove to try and get a hand on it. 14 on the shot clock, $1:36 left. Falcons do have to be careful with ball possession. They've had some sloppy trips here, especially in the second half. Crisp inbound pass goes to Wheeler. Now Barr defended by Williams. Pull-up foul line jumper for Barr won't go. Rebounded by Bonds. And now the Purple Knights a chance to take the lead, but first we get a timeout called by Josh Meyer. Minute 23 to go. Bentley holding a 1-point lead. Back in a minute at the Dana Center. You're watching Bentley basketball on Bentley Falcons TV. Oh, what a game we have going here at the Dana Center. Bentley leads St. Michael's by a point, minute 23 to go. Purple Knights basketball as we come back to the play. Tyler Gibson for Bentley back in the game. 14 points, 8 rebounds for him. What a game he's had. Brandon Wheeler's got 16, 12.7 boards for Ryan Richmond. Look for the basketball to somehow find its way into Matt Bond's hands for St. Mike's. 25 points, 16 rebounds. He's got it here, facing up against Gibson. Couple dribbles to the basket, contact, no whistle either way, and Bonds puts it in. 28 now for him. As we approach the final minute, St. Mike's back on top by a point. Richmond in the lane, swallowed up by a couple defenders, sends it out to Gilpin. 18 on the shot clock. Gilpin hands to Gibson, who hands to Barr. Wheeler in the lane, sends it to Barr. Corner three on the way, short. Rebounded to the hands of Zaire Williams, bounces it to Bonds. And now Sullivan trying to get across half court, and he is fouled. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not. It was about a 13-second difference between the shot and game clocks. In any case, Sullivan, who's 5 of 5 at the foul line, is going to go to the stripe for 2 because it's double bonus time.
David Sullivan to the line, shooting 2.
Perfect on the first one. David Sullivan was 12 of 16 at the line coming into this game. And he's 6 of 6. Make it 7 of 7. Still a one-possession game, but it's a 3-point game. Falcons don't need a 3. They just need points, though. Richmond, shut off, back to Barr. Stankiewicz thinks about the 3, to the lane he goes, drops it off inside for Gilpin. Couple of head fakes, sends it outside for Wheeler. To the corner, Stankiewicz pump fakes, sends it out to the top. Richmond for 3, way too strong. A rebound caught in the air by Foster. Falcons had multiple chances to take shots, including Gilpin right underneath, but maybe guilty of overpassing, maybe guilty of being a little bit too unselfish. In the end, it turned out to be an air ball from Richmond, and timeout called by Jay Lawson before the free throws are coming. 11 seconds to go, and St. Michael's now has a chance to go up by 2 possessions. Well, can't say the Falcons didn't have some chances there. They certainly did, but I still don't understand the foul on Sullivan at half court. It almost looked intentional, and that he's been their best foul shooter by far today. Made both to make it a 3-point game. The Falcons didn't necessarily have to take a 3. Had some opportunities to take some 2s, but ended up recirculating the ball, and turns out that, well, the shot just didn't work. So now they're at the mercy of how St. Mike's does here at the foul line. It's going to be a couple of free throws coming with 11 seconds to go. Bentley unofficially out of timeouts. And so for Bentley, they're going to have to hope for a couple of misses. They're going to have to score quickly, there's no doubt. And you have to think at some point they're going to have to get a 3. So they're really up against it here. The fact that they didn't score at all on that last trip is really damaging. And St. Michael's now 11 seconds away from their first win of the season. And you can't say that they haven't been value for it. Matt Bonds in particular, 28 points, 16 rebounds. And so it'll be the freshman Stan Foster at the line for the 2 free throws. Hasn't taken a free throw today. In fact, hasn't taken a free throw as a college player. And makes the first one.
Stan Foster at the line for St. Michael's, shooting his second shot.
Now a 4-point game, that was a big one. He can make it a 5-point game, he misses it. Long rebound goes into the hands of Wheeler. And the front court, Richmond penetrates to the basket, he goes, lays it in with 3.6 to go, and apparently Bentley did have 1 timeout left, and so they do take it. I guess my math was a little bit faulty, but That may well be the last one. Richmond's drive gives him 14 and makes it 75-73. So ideally, come up with a steal here. If not, you've got to come up with pressure and give a foul immediately, hope for a miss at the other end, and then see if you can get a long three off to send the game to overtime. Not exactly an ideal spot, but here's where the Falcons are. Well, everybody has their day sometime, and it would really be a Scrooge-like move to begrudge St. Michael's a win here today. They've led for much of this second half. And another terrific performance from Matt Bonds, 28 points. Unofficially 16 rebounds. Levi Holmes III with 17 points, 15 of which came in the first half, but at the very least his presence has been important. David Sullivan has 13 points, 11 in the second half. He is 7 of 7 at the foul line, and they've got contributions, not a lot of scoring from other guys, but it's been enough to put them ahead and maybe give them their first W of the season. And certainly their best defensive performance. Bentley scored only 73 points. Wants to put it in play on the baseline. Finds Holmes. He's quickly fouled by Duke. 4/10 coming off the clock.
Bentley foul number 21, Ferguson Duke is fourth.
And so that will send Holmes to the line for the first time today. Falcons have to hope for at least one miss here. Holmes, though, is a dynamite foul shooter, 14 of 16 at the line this season. And he can nail down the win with two makes here. The first one catches lots and lots of iron, but it drops. The second one will pretty much do it if he can knock this one home. And he's got that one all net. Well, St. Mike's going to get their first win of the season. Inbound comes to Richmond. He lets it roll. Sullivan lets him pick it up. Richmond fires for three. Got it with 8/10 left. Inbound goes down the court to Holmes. All he has to do is touch it, and the game is over. So St. Mike's comes into the Dana Center and wins for the first time this season. 77-76. And the Falcons gave it a good go. They fell behind by as many as 11 midway through the second half. Fought back, took the lead, but down the stretch, St. Mike's, well, got to give them the credit. They had enough to get it done. Sullivan, Holmes, and Bonds in particular coming up with the bulk of the scoring to get them over the top. 17 for Ryan Richmond led Bentley, but unfortunately for the Falcons, it's their fourth straight loss as they go down to defeat against St. Michael's. That's all for our broadcast today. Once again, 77-76, St. Mike's wins it. That's our final score. Thanks for spending part of your day with us on Bentley Falcon Basketball. Our next broadcast will be on Friday, the 30th of December, when the Falcons take on Bridgeport in a non-conference game, 3 p.m. tip time. For the rest of the crew, I'm Steve Zardelli, and thanks again for watching Bentley Basketball from the Dana Center, a service of the PAC Network and Bentley University on Bentley Falcons TV. Have yourselves a great evening, everybody. Good night.